What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Nonfiction, and this is Real Fan Sports. Today, Zach and myself will both be doing our own videos for our 2024 NBA bracket predictions. And at the end, once you see both of our videos, there'll be a community post and a poll where you can vote to see whose bracket, the one you think is more likely to happen. With that being said, let's get into the video. Okay, as we see it now, we go into round one, and the first game that we're going to look at is the OKC Thunder versus the New Orleans Pelicans. We did game one in a stream yesterday, so I seen the first game, and I know the results. I know that the Pelicans lost a close one. I think they lost by 2 points. It was very close in this game. OKC Thunder, being the number one team in the division, didn't feel like they were a number one team. It wasn't dominant. It wasn't the type of outcome you would think a number one versus a number 8 would have. With a few different changes for the Pelicans, they could have easily won this game. But with that being said, I think that the Pelicans have a great opportunity in this series to actually win this series. I think they have what it takes to win it, even without Zion. I think if we get a version of CJ McCollum that looks like how he looked the last 2-3 weeks of the season, where he was averaging close to 30 points per game, Pelicans easily win this game if they see that. So I think that with the inexperience of that team as a whole, I can see the Pelicans pulling out the win of this series. I'm going to go Pelicans in 6. All right, as we jump into series number 2, which is the Clippers versus Mavs, this is a story we've seen multiple times, and we've seen the Mavs pull it out, even with Luka not having the greatest supporting cast. I do think this year, not just by adding Kyrie, but some of the other pieces they've added that has brought some interesting depth to their team, I think is enough to actually get them over the hump. Now, the interesting thing about the Clippers, the first game, I did not see the first game fully. I do know that James Harden went off, but I don't think that's sustainable. James Harden throughout the season has averaged for the beginning part under almost 17 points a game, and I believe towards the latter part of the season, the second half of the season, he was under 20 points a game. And I know that's because it was ramping up. There were more injuries, so he had to put in more time. But just like we saw last year for previous seasons with him with Philly, we saw James Harden go off for the first game, and then he disappeared for the rest. I kind of see the same thing happening, but I think for the Clippers, the key is actually Westbrook. They can get Westbrook started. I think the game plays differently for them. With Kawhi being out this first game, we don't know if he's going to be out the second game or the third game. We have no idea. But from the iteration of the Clippers that we see today, I still feel that the Mavs have enough with what they currently have to defeat this team in 6 games. I'm going to say Mavs in 6 still. I kind of feel like 5 could be possible, but I'm going to say Mavs in 6. The next one is a very interesting series. Minnesota Timberwolves and the Phoenix Suns. Now with the Phoenix Suns, they have that 3-headed monster with Bill, Booker, and Kevin Durant, which, kings of the mid-range, they can't shoot that 3, but the kings of the mid-range is who they are. But when it comes to the Timberwolves, we know the Timberwolves, they put in work that first game and hit the triple digits when the Suns did not. What's that saying? You never want to meet your idols or the people that you've been a fan of for so long. And we know if you pay attention to the after interview for Edwards is a huge fan of Kevin Durant. And I feel like he sees this game as not just a challenge to get to the playoffs, but it's like a personal thing. Can he beat one of his idols? And being that Kevin Durant is one of his idols, I think he's going to put his all into this game. And also the fact that they got Cat back at the right time, who seems to be playing healthy. And they have a solid defense. They have a solid squad. The Suns, who we thought got some decent depth at the beginning of the season, it just doesn't look like what we thought it was going to look like. It looks good on paper, but when you actually see it put together, it's still kind of iffy. Even though Booker can go for 50, Bill can go for 35, KD can go for 50, I just want to see if they can put it together as a team. Not just iso ball. Can they play a full, solid game? With the Timberwolves doing what they did the first game, I expect the Timberwolves to take out the Suns personally. Potentially it's an upset, quote unquote, because it's Kevin Durant and Booker, who most people believe they have the advantage. I think Minnesota Timberwolves have the advantage. I think they're the better team. I'm going to go Timberwolves. This is going to happen in 6. All right, now we're going to get into Nuggets at Lakers, revisiting Western Conference Finals of last year where the Nuggets swept the Lakers. Now, in this first game, the Lakers did everything in their power for 3.5 quarters to win this game. And for the most part, they looked pretty good. Even Anthony Davis went for 32 points. There's points in this game where LeBron looked tired. You could tell, hey, you've been putting in a lot of work throughout the season to get this team to where they're at currently. Do I think they have enough to beat the Nuggets? I honestly do not. If D'Angelo Russell can't be truly more consistent, I think he is actually the key for that leverage that they need. They need that true third scorer. And if Russell can show up like he did in most of the play-in and the last part of the season, I think they have the potential to get over the hump. But I still honestly don't think it's going to happen. I'm going to say I don't think it's going to be a sweep. I can see the Nuggets winning in 5. Crazy, but I honestly can't. And it's not even hate against LeBron. The Lakers threw out everything at these dudes, and it just didn't work. The Nuggets just kind of held off until the time was right, and then they took over the game. Now we get over to the Eastern Conference. I did not watch the first game, but I do know the Celtics put in work on the Heat, and I think as long as the Heat does not have Jimmy Butler and they rely heavily on Tyler Hero and a Bam Adebayo who doesn't know that he's really that dude, I can't see Miami winning a single game. I think as long as there's no Jimmy Butler, I just don't see it happening. So I'm going to go Celtics in 4. This is one I'm really not sure. Cavaliers and Magic, 2 teams that have potential for the future. And of course, this being the East, a little bit easier to get into the playoffs. So they both made it successfully, had some great runs this season. Fighter went off in that first game from what I've heard, did not watch it. I'm gonna say that I think the outcome will be the Cavaliers in 6. Could be 5 if Orlando keeps playing the way they're. You know what? We'll go out on a ledge and say Cavaliers in 5. The Bucks and Pacers. Now the problem I have with this game is the Pacers is one of the 4 worst defensive teams in the entire league. I think the other 3 are not in the playoffs, and it shows because they just weren't good. Now Pacers were good enough offensively to get themselves into the playoffs, but I don't know if they can play with a Giannis-less Bucks. I think even having just Dame is enough to beat this team, and that's sad because Halliburton can be an offensive juggernaut when he's on his game. But the fact that they don't play no damn defense is their problem. I don't think what Dame did is sustainable for more than 5 games or 4 games. I guess this is from my experience with seeing Dame going against the Warriors for so many years. I know he's a great talent. I don't know if I can really see him carrying the team by himself. I don't know. But I do believe that if we get a piece of that Dame, it's still more potent than how bad, especially because of how bad this Pacers defense is. They average giving up, I think it was like 118 or 120 a game. That's just too much. This first game, Dame didn't even score in the second half, and they still won. Like, come on, man. We're gonna go Bucks. I'm gonna be generous and say Bucks in 6. I know y'all probably saw Zach's video, and he talked about this matchup. Now, for me, when it comes between the Knicks and the 76ers, even though Joel Embiid is back from injury, we did see there was a moment he left the game after that little hardcore dunk, very aggressive, came down that knee, was limping around, looked a little ginger, left, but came back and finished the game. But the Knicks still pulled out the W. I think the Knicks not necessarily can run the table, but I think they can win this kind of handily. That core of the Knicks looks great together. They play well together. They fight for each other. I like this Knicks team, and I like what the possibility that this team can be. Now, do I think this team can go in and win the finals? Not necessarily, but I do think because of how weak the East is, they might be able to maneuver themselves to an Eastern Conference Finals. So I'm going to pick the Knicks. I think the Knicks come out of this one alive. So I'm going to say Knicks in 6. Okay, so now we got the Pelicans and the Mavericks. The Mavericks, again, have a lot of firepower between Kyrie and between Luka and Kyrie. Sorry. I need Hardaway to wake the hell up. Pelicans, when they play their best game, that means their defense is on point. There's parts of the season they had really good defense, and then there's parts where they're just ball watching, and I don't get it. I do expect by this time we have a better idea of what Zion's future is like. Oh, and also with this series, 40 is a Dallas fan. Zach's a Pelicans fan. They have a bet going. I hope this happens because I want to see them go at each other a little bit throughout the playoffs. It'll be fun. If we do, y'all need to come to the stream and check it out because it's going to be a lot of trash talking. When it comes down to it, I'm going to say Mavericks in 7. Now, if Zion's back and like healthy, that changes that. Now, scroll down to Western Conference semifinal number 2. Now, we got the Timberwolves and the Nuggets. Timberwolves, do I think they have enough to beat the Nuggets? I kind of do, but you know, that it factor with Joker and how good Joker can be in the clutch is so dangerous. You know, he doesn't look like it, but the man can play lights out in games. I've seen him do things that somebody his size is not supposed to be able to do. They're just not. So with that, I think I can see Nuggets moving on. It will be a hard fight. But being the Nuggets being one step closer to a finals appearance, possible finals appearance again at this point, I'm going to say Nuggets in 7. This one, unfortunately, coming to the Eastern Conference Finals game, semifinal game 1, You have Celtics versus Cavaliers. I don't think the Cavaliers have enough to really compete with the Celtics. I think the Celtics firepower is just too much as a whole. So I'm not even going to waste y'all time. I'm going to go Celtics, and I'm going to say this is a sweep as well. Now, Bucks and Knicks. If Giannis is back, this is an interesting series, which I kind of believe it could give the leverage to the Bucks. As it is right now, with no Giannis, if there's no Giannis, I think the Knicks can win this series in 6. But if there is a Giannis and Dame is playing similar to what he played in the first one, I would have to go with the Bucks. But I'm going to be generous. Bucks in 6 maybe. So now we get to the Western Conference Finals. This one I think will be really interesting. Really interesting. Luka versus Joker. I think Irving is better kind of all around, even though Murray, if he's in his bag, is so dangerous. So damn dangerous. The question for this series, do the extras for the Dallas Mavericks show up bigger than the extras for the Nuggets? And I still believe Nuggets still have the better extras. Even though the Mavericks, the ones that they have ran with this season coming into this playoffs, have been a lot better than what they've had in the past. But I do think this will be a hell of a battle and a hell of a series to watch. So because of that, I'm still going to go with Nuggets getting back to the finals in 6 games. Now let's scroll over to Eastern Conference Finals. Celtics versus Bucks. It feels like the Celtics have the red carpet back to the damn finals. They have struggled in the past with the Bucks, and they struggled with Giannis with Giannis and Middleton. So now this is Giannis, Middleton, and Dame. This could be an interesting finals as well. But do I believe the Bucks can get to the actual finals over the Celtics? That is a good question. Looking at their records, they played each other 4 times. And in the 4 times, the series is tied 2-2. Now, you know what? I'm going to say Dame gets to the finals in a hard-fought series against the Celtics. I'm going to go Bucks in 7. Get to the NBA Finals, we have the number 2 Nuggets versus the number 3 Milwaukee Bucks. Nuggets are the favorite. 100% they're the favorite. Bucks will make it interesting. And I do believe this type of series still goes 6. But I look at it as the Nuggets repeating and winning the NBA Finals in 2024. That's what I'm going with. I'm going with the Nuggets in 6 for the repeat, which will give Dame that taste. So next season, he can step it up. How many total points will be scored in game 1 of the NBA Finals? I'm going to say 200 and 209. And we're going to submit this. I'm probably crazy. I'll probably look at me like I'm crazy, but we're going to submit this. I'll put a picture up. Nuggets, NBA champions, in my NBA bracket. This is what it is. I'm going to take a screenshot so Zach can have it and we can post it so you guys can vote on it. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button. You know what? If you didn't, hit that like button. Don't forget to check out Zach's video if you haven't already. Check out his video. And then go ahead and go vote on the poll in the community post. Appreciate you. Love you. And we'll see you in the live stream. All right, y'all. Peace out.